Hello, I'm Stanzi and welcome to my house. Please subscribe, and if you like this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up. Today I am reviewing our eyeshadow palette from the makeup store. This is the one, it's called, well, 12 Shades Grey, and on the back it just says, let's see, dark grey matte, light grey matte, dark grey shimmer, light grey shimmer. So that is basically what it is, and here you can see, so up here are the mattes and down here are the shimmers. I think you can see that. I've had this palette for about 2 months, 1.5 at least now, so I thought now I can give you a review when I have used it a few times. What happened? What was I saying? Yes, I've had it now for a few months, for a few weeks to be sure, for a few weeks, so I thought let's do a review now when I have tested it and when I sort of know what works and what doesn't work, if there is something that doesn't work. I'll show you a few swatches. I'll insert that because if you follow me, you know that I've said before that the camera tends to pain me out a bit, so I will do the swatches with a blah blah blah. I will do the swatches with a white background so you can see more clearly exactly what these shades look on my skin tone, and then I'll come back here and talk more about them. So here it is, 12 Shades of Grey from Makeup Store, and on the back the upper are matte, dark grey matte, light grey matte, dark grey shimmer, light grey shimmer, and that's exactly, let's see, there we go. So you can see I've used a few shades far more than others. All the top ones are matte, as you can see. They have a very nice blend to them, and the others are shimmery. Depending on how much you pack on the shimmers, they can actually have quite a lot of fallout when you're packing it on if you don't have the right brushes. So that's an important thing to know, that you actually the makeup store brushes are really good with their own eyeshadow, so that's a tip if you use makeup store eyeshadows and you have problem with them. This one is looking a lot more yellowy, but it's a grey with gold glitter in it, basically. That's why it's catching on as a very yellowish one on the screen. I'm gonna see if I can try to make it look, there we go, that's closer. No, that's too bright. Let's see. Okay, so this is what the shades look like. So this one has a very light shimmer, but there is a hint of purple in the shimmer. This is a pure silver. This one is matte with sort of a purple shimmer to it. This one is, it's grey, but it has a lot of finely, very fine gold glitter in it. So it's the warmest shade in the pan. So if you just want to use this pan, I suggest you add this one for a bit more depth and warmth, because it can get a lot, I don't know, at least for my skin tone, which has a yellowish undertone, it can look very dry to only use grey shades. This one is a silver. I mean, it's grey with very fine glitter in it. That one I would say is metallic eyeshadow. I mean, those two are metallic. That one is a silver metallic, I mean a light silver, and this one is a dark silver metallic. This one is black with glitter in it. So those two, let's see, that one and that one are metallic shades, and the other ones are greys with glitter in them, and that one I would say is a black with glitter in it. As well as the top row, all those are grey, and that one is a black. I would definitely say it's not a dark grey, it is a black. Let's see. Another thing I would say is that these blend really well with, well, all of their own eyeshadow, but other eyeshadows as well. So I rarely use this pan without adding any color when I do my makeup. So I might use the black one, I might use the shimmery shades, I might even use the light greys to sort of lighten up a shade, but I will most likely be adding color as well to my eyelids. Another thing that the makeup store eyeshadow pans have is that you can actually click them off. So if you don't want to use all of them, for instance, if I travel, I might only want to take these 3, then I can just press. Doesn't want to, it usually works. There we go. Press on that one and it has clicked off, so it's loose. And then you have a smaller one, smaller pan, and you can just, oops, sorry, you can just add that one there and click it on, and so if you travel you can take a small one and don't have to take the large one, unless, oops, unless you you want to take them all. But this is a really good thing that they have, and you can still see the shades in the back. So yeah, that's a good thing that they have. Now they do however sell this one with all the 12 shades as one. I don't know if you can buy just 3 of them actually. I don't think you can. I'm not entirely sure, but I don't think you can, so you sort of have to buy this big one, but you can after that snap them off and use in a smaller one. So I think you can see from the swatches they are quite pigmented, or very pigmented even, and the shimmery ones do leave a very nice shimmer. There is some issue with it, at least in the beginning, but it is sort of, sounds weird, but for me at least it had proven to be quite, whenever I buy a new eyeshadow from makeup store, they tend to there's a lot of fallout in the beginning. It's sort of like the first layer has to be removed, and then I usually don't experience fallout, and it's the same with this one in the beginning. Even now there is, let's see, there are 2 shades I think that I haven't used that much of. Yeah, those 2 over here, that one and that one. I've used very little of them, which means that whenever I do use them there is a lot of fallout still. When I use a brush, even when I roll it, as you can see here, there is still a lot of fallout in the beginning. Sort of you lose that first layer, and for me after that there really isn't any problem. But as I said, that has happened for me for almost every single eyeshadow from the matte eyeshadows, definitely from makeup store. The shimmer ones are a bit different. They don't always, some have fallout and others don't, but again it's just like the top layer that needs to be removed, and after that, for me, I keep saying, for me at least, there isn't any problem with fallout after the top layer has been used up. I'm holding it upside down now, so now the shimmers are on top, in case you got confused, and the mattes are down here. I will be removing this makeup, which I don't know if I've already shown you this tutorial or if it's up next weekend, but if you're interested to see how I got this makeup, you'll just either have seen it or, you know, it'll be up next week. Anyway, I'll be showing you now a makeup with this, so I will remove what I'm wearing. And actually I hadn't planned to do a tutorial on this one, and then I did a makeup that will be up on Monday, tomorrow, in 2 days. What day is it today? Saturday. So I did makeup look using this eyeshadow palette, and suddenly I realized I should actually do a review on this, because I haven't. So I'm sort of not going to do that makeup, which I really like. It's very subtle. I'm going to try, I actually don't know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to use every single shade, I don't think, but I will be using most likely only this one. I might add white, and that is something that I will actually add to this review, to say that I like that it is grey tonish. I would have liked, however, to have a white, because if you can see, those 2 shades are very, very close. You can see the difference here more between that one and that one that is shimmery, because that one contains more goldish shimmery, whereas this one is more silver shimmery. So that's why that one looks a bit more sort of like dirtied up grey. I don't know what to call it, but otherwise they are very similar in shade, and I would have preferred, because this one is practically black, because as you can see it is quite light, but on dark skin it I had a friend who really liked the way it looks on me. She was like, oh, it looks almost lavender, and I was like, yeah, because that's my skin peeping through the grey. You can pack it on a lot, so that does work. But actually I'll be done chatting now, and I'll get this makeup off and show you how to use this. Okay, so that was a very quick removal. It wasn't done that properly. I might have glitter all over my face still. That's the only thing. I mean, I'm not overly fond of using eyeshadow that's glittery. It's not really my thing. It can look really effective, really pretty. It's just, I really like matte. The way it looks. I sort of feel like you can get away with wearing a lot more makeup when it's matte, because it's sort of, the shimmery sort of lifts it up, gives it a more wow effect. But yeah, I still got eyeshadow on. Let's cover that up. I am using the one I always use, which is a BB cream. I can't remember exactly which one it is right now, but it's the one I always use. It's called Medium. It's a skinny bottle, which is lighter than my skin, so it's sort of concealed with it as well as I've already primed my face. I always do that. But yeah, okay. So what were we going to do? We're going to use grey eyeshadow and see what we do. I have actually no idea what I want to do today. Let's see, let's not cover the camera. I think we're going to start with a blending brush, and we're going to start with, let's see, that shade over here, that one, which you can't really properly see. There, that one. That's the one I'm starting with at my crease. So I'm tapping it, and this one is one of those that I haven't used that much, so it still has a lot of fallout. Tap it on first, because otherwise I'll have a bunch falling on my cheek, which I might have anyway, but we'll see at the end how it performs today. So yeah, just filling in my crease quite heavily, hopefully you can tell. And this is just base color, so I'll be covering it up anyway, but sort of, you see that? It's getting less and less fallout as I use it. So what happened there? So I'm tapping it. I like, personally, when I use this brush, I like to sort of twirl on the pan, on the, you know, I have it like that, and then I twirl it to catch the color. But again, when these eyeshadow pans are new, that sort of doesn't work. So you sort of have to break through the first layer, which I've already mentioned. I feel like I'm repeating myself quite a lot. The camera just stopped, so maybe I'm repeating myself even more now. But yeah, so that one looks a lot darker. Why did that happen? Is it just lighting in the room, or did it actually get darker? Let's see if I do it like that. There. Oh god, you must look dead. It's so colorless, but that's what we're going to try and sort of break free from, and show that grey tones can actually give a lot of depth. So now I'm going to use, let's remove the mirror, I'm going to use this matte, let's see, that one there, And this one I can actually twirl because this one I have been using, so it's no longer has that amount of fallout, if indeed any. Does it have? Nothing that I can see anyway. I'm going on my outer crease now and darkening it up. Because actually what I found with these eyeshadows, that when I do tap, once I've broken through the first bit, the first layer, actually that creates a lot of fallout, and that I don't want. So first I have to tap off the top layer, but once I'm done with that, twirling the eyeshadow onto the brush is actually way better. There. God, keep looking slightly dead. Now I'm cleaning my brush with a clean brush. I am softening off the edges. I'm going to use an eyeshadow as well afterwards here, so, but before I get there, I still want to clean off the edges, soften them up. Now I'm gonna go in with the lightest shade of grey. With that one now. I've only used the matte colour so far, so I started with this one in the crease, here on the upper side of the crease, towards the brow bone with that one, and now I'm going to use the lighter one all over my lid. If you have primers that pale out your skin, I would suggest that you use them. Or concealers, because you do sort of, I mean, you can pack on a lot with this shade, so you can, but I don't like it because that means that the further the day goes along, the more it will likely fall into my creases, and I don't like that. So I like to not pack on too much eyeshadow. I've had a bit, can you see that? Some fallout with the grey. But yeah, I'll clean that up afterwards, so there's no real issue there for me. But yeah, I'm gonna continue with the other eye, twirling the brush onto, no, twirling the eyeshadow onto the brush. Did you just see that little cloud of eyeshadow that came off the brush? Here we go. Quite even, aren't they? I think they are. Okay, so now I'm moving into underneath my eyes. I'm just gonna clean off the little bit. So I'm starting with the light shade, the one that I used on my lid, and I'm going to gently brush it on to my lower lid and blend it in. Same. It's starting to get darker in this room. I have the window lights coming in as well. I mean the light from outside coming in, so it looks good on the screen. It's starting to look really dark for me here in the mirror. That is a step, definitely. I am thinking, what am I thinking? I think I actually want to add a white liner to this look. If you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen me use the white eyeliner with a similar look, but I'm not done with the look, but I will actually apply the liner first. Let's see, I'm going to use my very old, very gross eyeliner pen because it's the easiest to maneuver. I have newer ones, but sort of need to break them in. They're still too, the brush is still too open. This old one that I have, that I've had for far too long. But I mean, I washed it, but what do you call it? The handle, sort of the brush wand, the handle, looks quite disgusting actually. But yeah, it's, let's let's see, can we see it all? It's from the makeup store. It's called number 102, and it's really tiny, because the new one that I have, if I can find it, let's see, looks like that. It is the same size, but as it's new, whenever I wash it, it gets like that, and it takes some time to in the pan to get it like this. So now I am going to use this old one instead, that I don't need to sort of work that much with. It makes it a lot easier to do the wing, which I might mess up anyway, because I find it difficult to put on the white eyeliner on the eyeshadow without it sort of taking up the, well, sort of taking up the shade. I mean, this is grey, so hopefully, what do you call it? This is grey, so hopefully it won't, what am I trying to say? You don't know, I don't know. It won't take up too much of the colour, that's what I'm trying to say. Oh god, my brain is all over the place. I keep having, if you watched my Vlogmas, I think I'm quite certain I left that part in a few days ago when I mentioned that I've been sleeping really bad. And this week, unfortunately, has been no difference. I don't know what's going on, but I keep waking up in the night. Well, I know what's going on, probably I'm just worried about stuff, but it's just so annoying when you're tired and you can't fall asleep. I think it's quite big, but this is what we're going for today, it seems. So hopefully I won't mess the other side up. My brother told me yesterday, I was seeing my brother, and I actually did have white liner on, and I was like, they're uneven, they don't look good, and he was looking at my face and he was like, yeah, if they're uneven, you're the only one who knows, because no one else can tell. And I was like, well, I'm sorry, no offense to everyone else, but if it bothers me, I don't really care if it bothers anyone else or not. I mean, I'm glad no one else notices, but you know, I do put on makeup for myself and no one else, so if I'm not that you know, happy with the way it turns out, it will affect me more than it will affect you. So let's see, it's quite up, but not ridiculously sharply up, sort of in a bow. Not a bow, in a, I think I managed, what is it called? Båge in Swedish. Oh, we got too thick. We can fix it. But it's the cake eyeliner from the makeup store. Again, I'm keeping with the brand today, it seems. So far I am, I might not when I'm finished, but so far I am. What was I saying? Yeah, it's the white cake liner. I really like cake liners because I feel like I have more control, sort of gel liners and things like that. However easy they might be, I'm used to using a brush and the cake liner, so I find this to be a lot easier for me. But I mean, as with everything, you know, the more you use one method, obviously that will be the easiest for you. I will want it to be as even as possible. I want the line to be as even as possible, and I want it to be as even as possible, matching the other eye as well. So it looks good on screen, I think. They aren't even. Oh, that's so annoying. I'm going to leave it as that anyway. Yeah, I'm not going to be more bothered by it. Let's continue putting on more eyeshadow. So, what do I want? I want dark eyeshadow. I want really, really dark eyeshadow. Do I have my thin one? This one. Let's see. It's a concealer brush actually, from Makeup Store, and it's it's got the previous eyeshadow on, but I'm going to. I mean, from the look I had on in the beginning of this clip, it's got that blue eyeshadow on. But I'm just gonna clean it up a bit quickly. I love when you have more than one of the same brush, but unfortunately this one, I just have one of them. So, but a quick clean, look. Now I'm going to use the darker shade, and I'm going to use the glittery one, the one down there. And I need to use my mirror. This one I haven't used that much either, but I'm tapping it very, very lightly. Now these shimmer shades do not have the same kind of a fallout, I've noticed, and some don't have it at all. So it's usually the mattes I find, but that's probably because they're pressed, you know. So what was I going to do? Underneath my eyes, that's what I was going to do. I'm just tapping it on as close as to my lash line as I can get with this brush. Sort of get in between the lashes. Come on. There we go. Am I still filming? Yeah, I was. I just test when that happens. You've been doing something amazing and then you look at your screen and kind of like, oh, when did that cut? And then you look through it and you notice that you've just sort of filmed half of a tutorial, in this case a review. That's so annoying when it happens. I doubt I'm the only one though it has happened to. And sometimes you don't even know why it happened. Obviously if the battery dies or if the if the storage is full, then you understand why it happened. But sometimes it's like the battery, there's nothing wrong with that, and the storage isn't even half full. Why did it turn itself off? So weird. And you're within the time limit as well, because I do know that some cameras, mine is in a 10-minute time limit, so it records 10 minutes at a time. But when you're within those 10 minutes, it's sort of filmed for 3 minutes and it turns itself off. What's that about? I know newer cameras, I think, have 30 minutes. I mean, it depends what kind of camera you use. Some don't have a limit, other than storage, that is. Let's see. I think that's even enough. Now I'm going to use the shade that's there, that one, and go right underneath the, oh, for heaven's sake, what's the name? Look, this one for instance. The other shade I used didn't have any. This one, can you see that? I didn't have any fallout with that shimmer. This one had immediately. You can see that, right? Especially if it zooms, you can see that even better. So yeah, going to clean that up a bit. But I don't think I've used this shade that much. That's probably why. Dun dun dun. There we go. I'm going to put it below the darker shade I just placed. Oh no, I'm not in focus. That also, sometimes it autofocuses and sometimes it doesn't. What's that about? Cameras, eh? Get this one, it has autofocus. Great. No, it doesn't. Then there are people who have actual struggles in their life, and I'm like, my camera doesn't autofocus. I think we are. It is looking good anyway, I think. I need to clean the mirror I'm using. It's so... because I hold it like this, you know, it gets full of fingerprints on it. I can still see my face, but, you know, does not look good. Let's see. Okay, so the upper lid I want to use a silver shade that is here, and I actually want to use the darker glitter shade on the upper crease as well, but I think I'm going to use this brush, which is a blender medium. Let's see, I'm going to show it to you instead. There we go. That, I know it doesn't really properly want to focus, but yeah, I'm going to use that one at the corner with the dark glitter that I used just in my lash line, and this one I'm twirling on the pan, and I seriously no fallout with this shade, and I'm going to avoid getting it on the liner. So this shade has a very light shimmer to it actually. Maybe if you pack it with your finger you'll have more, but I've never used it as such. And now I want it here as well, to sort of hint to a halo without actually being that marked of a halo. And with a clean brush, very lightly, because this brush is great for blending, but it's very firm, so if you do it too hard it doesn't actually blend, so you have to be very light on your touch. This one I'm going to use a bit more. Pack it on right there and move it up gently. And the same goes for the inner. I don't want it to be like obvious. And can I blend it out or not? I have no idea what I'm doing. Am I achieving it? Very gentle. It looks very gentle here on my mirror. I have a feeling it's not looking that much of a gentle. Now maybe transition on the screen. Getting there. I think that's where we are. Okay, so now I'm going to use a shade that is sort of silvery, which I've sort of touched on lightly with my brush. That one. If you can see, that one is also quite silver, but it's lighter. I'm going to try and use this one. Actually, I'm going to do this and this and decide, do I want the lighter? I actually want the lighter, so we're going to use the lighter. Question is wet brush or finger? I'm going wet brush. I think I can control it easier, you know. What am I trying to say? So tired. Get it on the line, on the liner. That was what I was thinking. So let's do this on the lid and see. I am using a wet brush actually. Again, just spritz. Face mist, if you have, works perfectly. Okay, I can actually feel this having fallout as I'm tapping it on. That I'm not liking. Let's see, get a clean brush. Did that work? I think it did. There we go. Next side. Cheek. And there I did what I didn't want to do. There we are. I'm actually thinking of covering up the dark shade. No, I'm leaving it like that. But I do need to blend it, however. Or will I? I have no idea right now what I want to do. I am thinking, actually I'm going to use that darker silver, which I wanted to use first, but I'm going to use that on the edges with the blending brush, so it won't be as intense. That's what I'm doing. And this I'm twirling and it has no fallout. Dot dot dot. Brush, brush, brush. Are we getting somewhere? I think we are. Okay, so sort of ruined it a bit for myself because I wanted to use the light one as a highlighter in the corner. I still could, I suppose. Let's see, I'm going to use that little brush though, which is a lip brush. Small lip brush, 604. Now I'm taking a big blending brush from H&M. All the others I've used are from Makeup Store, but I really like the fluffiness of this brush. Go, and I think that is it. Let's call this something like, I don't know, ice inspired makeup or something. I don't know. But the look, it's not bad, it's just that I miss the warm tones. I do like adding warm tones. Maybe I should do a black liner though. That might... Is it black or is it glittery? I do not wish more glitter. That one is the Raven from H&M. The shade Raven, if you haven't seen me use this before, but more specific. Go, and I'm going to do mascara too, actually, I think. The only bad thing with mascara with this look is that you have to be really careful with the wand, because otherwise you'll mess up the white. And at the same time you want to reach your roots, because they're sort of gotten white. If I do this, can you see? Sort of the eyeliner, the cake liner, I mean the eyeliner, the cake liner, sort of gotten a bit on the lashes, so I want to cover that, but I can't, you know, go too very vigorously on the roots, or I'll mess up the eyeliner. Tilting my head back as much as possible, sometimes that helps. Can I? And then sort of helped. Let's do the bottom lashes too. Am I filming? Yeah, I'm still filming. So I had to remove, I'm not mic'd up, let's see. Microphone. Are we there? Okay, so, can you hear me now? I had to, hopefully you can't hear my roommate who's making noises. What was I going to say? Yeah, I had to finish off screen because the space in my camera, as I was talking about it, sometimes that happens, and I've been filming 2 things, and this review is a lot of talking, so it takes a lot more time to film, so the space ran out, or I'm running out of space, so I finished off the look off camera. I used the usual blush I always use, and I used, oh, where is it now? Just because of it I can't find it. The blush that I use, no, here it is. I used this one, I used that one. Let's see quickly before it cuts off. This one, highlight here, I used that one as a highlighter above here to sort of warm it up a bit, and then the blush is the one I always use, which is the shade Peach, which is the shade Peach from the makeup store. I used these 2, no, that's not right. I used eye colour to go on the lips, shade Heavy Metal. See that? And then this one, and that's it. That's what I did to my face, and hopefully you enjoyed it. Okay, so I just very quickly wanted to say thank you for watching. Remember to like if you liked, and subscribe if you haven't already. Any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Remember to be kind to one another in the comments, because I am a cyber smiler and I'm completely against cyberbullying, and I will see you next time. Bye!